What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. You can never force nobody else to wear them.
I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubt. And I have my doubt that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. Okay, getting my volume set. I think we're good. I I guess I could give a little bit of a, well, I don't really have much of an update to give you about last night, other than, I don't know, I guess it was a fight. I don't really have any more details than what I knew last night, but, I guess, I don't know, I guess there was a fight. That's about all I know on it. I'm not, I didn't really go hunting for information that hard or anything, so. Anyway, I was sitting here tonight and I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? And I was getting ready to start going through the headlines and looking at the different things in the news, and I normally get my toilet paper off the table. Anyway, I use that for my nose. Oh, you should know that by now. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm looking through the news articles, and at the same time I was listening to some videos. And I was listening to a video, and it smacked me right in the head as to what I needed to talk about. I'm not going to say whose video or what the video was about or anything like that. And the reason being is because I do really like the guy. I really do like the guy. And this is in no way about him. So, I don't know how much time we have left before some big major thing, and nobody does. But for those people that are interested in starting a group, getting a group of individuals together, I would say you better be getting on it. You better be getting on it hardcore. But I wanted to share a little bit of advice, I guess, a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of experience when it comes to this. So I've mentioned that I am part of a fairly large group locally. Now, everybody in the group isn't from here. Now, I can say that in one way or another, everybody in the group has ties here. But not everybody is from here, and not everybody lives here. So some people were originally from here, but because of their job, they moved not far. Nobody's far away. But some of them may not live in town proper or just on the edge of town. I'm not going to disclose how far away, for instance, the furthest member is, but not far. Definitely this side of the state line. So, but I wanted to share more than anything a little bit about the group. I have to be careful because I could so easily out people just by being specific about their profession. That's one of the things that I want to touch on. Profession. Now, this group was started a long time ago. It's not anything new. We haven't accepted any new membership since 2013. It's not something that was just created. It's not something that little thought went into. There are only a few members of our group that asked to be a part of the group. The rest of the members were all approached and asked. They were invited. So let me explain a little bit about the members. All of the members of the group are professionals. Every last one of them. Now, there are some very similar traits that we have. One of those traits is not a single one of us is a couch surfer. Not a single one of us spends our time sitting in a comfortable chair in our living room watching TV. Not one. Every one of the members are highly motivated individuals, and they have various hobbies. Probably out of all of the different areas that we could know about or be educated in, I have to say that the most would be educated on vehicles, automobiles. Why do I say that? Because a large number of the members, that's one of their hobbies. They're into cars. A lot of them are into cars. I'll say this, I am the only poor guy in the group. By far. And I mean by far. These are all individuals that really have their lives squared away. They've got their shit straight. They've had their shit straight. I'm an oddball. But that's interesting in and of itself. When I was watching that video earlier, I started asking myself, what, and this is a member of the person, the video I was watching is a member of a group. I have no idea how large. I think a lot of it's conflated. I think a lot of it's bullshit that we hear, to be honest. But I had asked myself, what are their skills? Because there's a couple of little things that you pick out, and believe me, they're not that spectacular, okay? But that's it. And I'm like, wait a minute. And you think about other people that they run with, and you start asking yourself, what are their skills? And the large majority of them, there's nothing super remarkable at all. I couldn't imagine forming a group of individuals like that for something like this. Again, I can't get into specifics on, well, many of the different individuals, but there are actually some members of law enforcement. Not a lot, but there is. There are people that work, how do I word this? In upper echelons, I guess you could say, of law enforcement. Not like police per se. I can say this. There are a few people that work for the prison systems. That I can do without unveiling anyone. There are professionals everywhere from business ownership to engineering to even being the foreman on big steel construction jobs. That's as close as I'm going to get in that direction. There is a number of different skills, and everybody in the group is highly skilled. There's, of course, medical in the group, everything from surgeon to trauma nurse. But they're all professionals, and they're all very highly motivated people that, again, and I'm going to emphasize this, don't sit on a couch or in a comfy chair in the living room with a TV remote in their hand. Not one of them. Not one of them. That's important. Listen, last night I didn't get a chance to have even remotely the show that I wanted to, and I didn't even know how to approach it. I really didn't. I cannot emphasize to you enough how messed up our future is. And I'm not speaking about what our government's going to do, because that's messed up. I'm not speaking about what other governments are going to do, because that's messed up. I'm talking about what we can scientifically prove is coming right at us like a freight train. That is what I'm talking about. When this group was put together initially, that is what it was put together for. Not political nonsense going on in our government or any governments anywhere else. Not war, not all this other type of conspiracy stuff people are constantly going on and on about. None of that. Specifically what is going to happen with pole shift. That was from moment one. So we knew the very first set of members, we knew that everybody was going to have to be on their game. We knew we were going to need individuals. And there's a reason I harp so much about where's the plan for rebuilding. Because it's something that I do not see in the preparedness groups. There's just plans for survival. That's it. None of them go that next step. None of them talk about rebuilding. And I would say that that's probably a pretty important thing. Now, let me be very clear with this. In the main event, we'll call it, which I'm referring to pole shift, and when this actually takes place, there's probably not going to be a whole lot left to deal with, to work with. I'll put it that way. There's probably not going to be a whole lot left to work with. You better have a group of individuals that know how to get things going again. They know how to make things happen. Because if you're among a group of individuals that are standing around with their hands in their pockets or their hands in the air going, what do you want me to do? It's probably not going to turn out too good for you. What's ideal is being with a group of individuals that don't even have to have those discussions. Can look, see what needs done, and get to it. That is the type of group of individuals that we have. And I'm blessed. I am absolutely and totally blessed. I don't think it was my doing, though. I don't think any of this was my doing. I think something much bigger, something much larger has been behind this. And I'm mostly blessed that I didn't lose it from being such a screw-up. That's the one thing I didn't lose. I lost my family. I lost almost all of my possessions. The one thing I didn't lose was the group. Not at all. Pretty amazing. And you want to know the other amazing thing, just on a personal note? I've been judged by a whole lot of people, especially a lot of people here locally. Not a single one of those individuals has judged me. Not one. Not one. You know why? Because everybody gets stupid in some form or another. Mine just happened to do with my personal relationships. Most of us have gotten stupid one way or another. And while I can't excuse the human being that I was being at the time, there are reasons why I didn't give a damn. Believe me, other people can push you enough very easily to where you don't give a damn about nothing. And that's where I was at. That's where I was at. Again, I'm not trying to place blame or lessen any of my fault in it, because it was entirely my fault. I am responsible for my actions and my reactions, and can't blame nobody else for that. But I want to emphasize that the individuals that make up my group are all individuals that will get things done. They don't have to be told what to do. They don't. I'm trying not to give away whose video that I watched earlier or what the video was about or anything like that. But it really, there's been several videos that they've made that really does show that they're not. Okay, I'll say this much. They're not mechanically inclined at all. Like, as in, not much at all. And, like, pretty much any area in that... I don't want to say. We'll say everything from automotive to electrical to a host of things. And it leaves you asking yourself, what is it that they are skilled in? And again, that there are areas, I'm not saying that there aren't any areas that they're skilled in, they are, but they're not dime a dozen kind of thing, right? A dime a dozen kind of thing. That's like when it comes to, and I don't know how to put this in any good way, but like the lower tier medical fields, like anything from like CNA to, something like that. And I'm not downplaying them, but it's pretty easy to find people that's done that type of work. There's a lot, like if you were looking for people that did home health care, man, open the floodgates, because you could find tons. So that's what I'm getting at. They're not specified fields, and they're not what I would call professional fields. Like, when it comes to medical, I would say you start to enter your professional fields when you're talking about, like, registered nurse. That's where you start hitting that professional mark, in my opinion. It's my opinion. I don't know what to tell folks beyond that. You have to surround yourself with people that have capability, that truly have skill sets, that are going to make a difference in that situation. Hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a professional interior decorator when SHTF happens. Okay? That's not going to be something that's going to be of great concern at the moment. So just make sure that you surround yourself with individuals that are going to be able to make that difference. And people that don't just stop there at that one thing. It's great to know a lot about one thing, but it's even better to know a little bit about a lot of things. That's more or less the camp that I'm in. I'm not a professional per se in any one thing, but I can do a whole host of things. I am well versed in the fields of electrical and electronics, automotive, machinery, hydraulics, pneumatics, all the way to pest control. Now, I don't know how that's going to be used either in that particular event. I'm not expecting I'm going to need to rely on that, but I may. I absolutely may need to rely on some of that pest control experience. Why? Well, because just imagine if, let's say we lost the power grid and we went a period of time without a power grid. We went a period of time we didn't have fuel coming in. Grass isn't getting mowed, stuff like that. Well, when that happens, you're going to have a major uptick in everything from rodents to insects. And so, yeah, my knowledge of pest control can most certainly help out in that instance. You know, how do you stop that mouse from getting in through that little bitty hole? Well, steal wool. But not everybody knows that. Not everybody knows that. How big a hole do you have to look for a mouse to get in? Oh, half an inch? That's no joke. That's no joke. Half an inch. Right? You find that half an inch hole, stop it up with some steel wool. Not everybody knows that. Pest control guy does. So yeah, even that field I could see where it could apply in some situations. But still, that interior decorator's out. I don't know. Could you put the seaweed a little bit over? And I don't know how that's gonna translate. But that's the biggest thing, man, because it just it's funny. I would imagine, and I'm not gonna give away names here, but I would imagine there's a particular individual that's on YouTube involved in prepping. And I would imagine there were a whole lot of people out there that have probably said or thought, man, I wished I was him. I wished I was him. I don't. I don't. Nope. I don't envy that cat one bit for one reason. It's humorous. It truly is humorous. But folks, seriously, if you're interested in putting together a group of people, number one, you better get on it. Number two, find highly motivated individuals. Find people that know their job and know their job well, and make sure that they're jobs that are going to complement the positions that you're going to be in. Make sure that they're people that don't just go and do that 9-to-5 job and then go home and then sit on their ass and watch TV the rest of the day. Why is that important? Why do I keep hammering on that? Because it's individuals out there that don't partake in that. They get out there, they go out there, they've got hobbies, maybe they're working on cars, maybe they do like guns and they're out shooting and target practicing, and but they have hobbies, they have different other skills aside from their profession. Why? Because all of that stuff complements. All of it complements. You can have an entirely huge group of so-so people that can't get the job done, but you can have a smaller group of highly intelligent, highly professional, highly motivated individuals that can make it happen in a heartbeat. That is where I would rather focus my energy at. We didn't expect the group that we have to get as big as what it did. It's actually large. I would say large, especially in comparison to most of the preparedness groups that I'm aware of. A large group of people. We never intended that. It just happened. And yeah, that it was an invite thing for the most part. But, every time that we brought somebody on board, through conversations, we wind up bringing another one or another two on board. And it just kept building and just kept building. And we finally hit a plateau, a dry spot. And that's when we shut the door. We shut the door then and said, look, we're good. We're good. I mean, we're definitely good. Actually, probably a little large for my taste, but I don't know. I one of those people that it's hard for me to have the mountain in front of me without, focusing on that first hill, because I'm always going to see the mountain in my peripheral. So that's why I look at it and it's like, I'm thinking of this and I think organization and I think, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm blessed to be in that situation. It's important, folks. It's important. I hope somebody out there picks up something from this that will help them. If you don't have any kind of a group or anything like that, you need to work on something. Seriously. The whole lone wolf thing, or just a small family, or just a few people, it's not going to work out so well. It's really, truly not. I wished I could tell you it would, but you really need to do a deep dive. Again, I guess everybody prepares for different things. From the get-go, mine's been pull shift. And I would advise everybody to aim for that. Because that is pretty much the absolute worst possible scenario you could ever imagine yourself ever being in. You prepare for that, you're going to be pretty well set for anything that comes your way. Anyway, let's do some news. Let me get the hell out of here. It's my Friday. And tomorrow I'll be playing some Veto VR. I played a little bit today. It was kind of fun. Didn't really get into any really super great servers today. So, it's during the week. Tomorrow, I'll probably host a server. If nothing comes up, I've got time to do it, I'll host a server. I'm hesitant to do it because I'm the kind of person that anything can come up at any time, so I may jump in and only play for 10 minutes and then pop out. So that's why I hate the thought of starting, because I don't want to start something I can't finish, There was one today that I thought starting out really cool, and everything was going well, and the guy that was hosting it just quit. I don't know, messed up. Maybe I need to host more games, because I will see it through. All right, kick on over to the web view. Lots of craziness. I'm just going to kind of run through these. U.S. finalizes $6 billion Ukraine military package, says Politico. So, do I need to really go into detail with this? You've heard about it enough. So, after all this BS, after Trader Mike Johnson decided to sell out Red Team, then we get to hear nonsense like this. Biden team doubts U.S. aid will help Ukraine win, says Politico. Well, wait a minute. Then why are we doing it? Good question, right? I'll read a little bit of this first few paragraphs. U.S. officials are not convinced that another $61 billion in American assistance for Ukraine will be enough for it to prevail in the conflict against Russia, Politico has reported. President Joe Biden signed a $95 billion foreign aid package on Wednesday, which also included funding for Israel and Taiwan. The Senate voted on the legislation earlier this week, ending a standoff between the Democrats and the Republicans that had dragged on since the autumn. Battlefield dynamics in the Ukraine conflict have shifted a lot in the last few months, Politico reported on Wednesday, citing unnamed members of the Biden administration. This happened partially because the stalemate in Congress led to Ukrainian forces running low on weapons and ammunition, the sources suggested. Look, the words that come to mind when I think about the chances of Ukraine winning this conflict with Russia, the words that come to my mind is no chance in hell. And common sense is what tells me that. Just good old common sense. Russia comments on ATACMS delivery to Kiev. The secret supply by Washington to Ukraine of long-range surface-to-surface ATACMS rockets only spells more trouble for Kiev, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told journalists on Thursday. On Wednesday, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan confirmed media reports that the U.S. had delivered Army Tactical Missile Systems, or ATACMS, to Ukraine as part of the arms package announced by President Joe Biden in mid-March. The assistance came as the Biden administration was pressuring the House to approve an additional $60 billion in Ukraine-related security spending. The Pentagon did not mention the missiles at the time. Why not? Peskov mocked the fact that prior to the confirmation there was much speculation among the Western press that ATACMS rockets could be included in a pending new shipment of arms. After lawmakers cleared the spending request, the Russian official said the shift in the narrative was fitting what he described as a predictable pattern of actions by the West. As soon as they start to discuss something particular in detail, it means the delivery is being made, he said. Now, we pointed that out several months ago. The spokesman said it was not Moscow's job to judge whether the delivery was legal under U.S. law, but assured reporters that the capability of the weapons in question would not impact the outcome of the Ukraine conflict, in which Russia intends to achieve all its national security goals one way or another. Interesting. So then, Pentagon decided we're going to unveil targets. That sounds like a good idea to do. Let's tell them where we're going to shoot them. Like every military. Wait, they don't do that. They do in Joe Biden's military. U.S. supplied Army Tactical Missile Systems, known as ATACMS, will allow Ukrainian forces to target Russia's Crimean Peninsula more effectively, the New York Times has reported, citing senior Pentagon officials. Washington secretly sent Kiev an unspecified number of longer-range ATACMS missiles last month, U.S. officials confirmed earlier this week, after several outlets claimed that Kiev has already begun using a new weapon against Russian targets far beyond the front lines. The goal of supplying Ukraine with longer-range weaponry was to put more pressure on Crimea, where right now Russia's had relatively safe haven, the New York Times wrote on Thursday, citing an unnamed U.S. defense official. The U.S. had delivered ATACMS missiles allegedly with a range of up to 300 kilometers to Ukraine as part of a $300 million arms package approved by President Joe Biden mid-March. On Wednesday, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan confirmed the delivery, but U.S. officials refused to comment on the exact modification and range of the weapon. On the morning of April 17, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said his forces had attacked an airbase in Dzhankoy, Crimea, after media reports alleged that Kiev used the missiles for the first time in the attack on the airfield about 165 kilometers or 103 miles from the front line. The Russian Defense Ministry has not commented on that claim. So basically, it's going to be a nightmare. Going to be a nightmare. Let me have a sip of coffee. And a lot of this stuff is why I'm not necessarily buying this as being an organic conflict that's going on as we're necessarily being told. I've never seen a war fought like this. And how many damn lines in the sand does one need to cross? I mean, just something doesn't seem right. Here's another one, by the way. Nuclear weapons in Poland would be priority military target, says Moscow. Says Russia would consider foreign deployments of nuclear weapons in Poland a primary military target. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov has warned. Warsaw is in talks with Washington on potentially hosting nuclear arms as part of a NATO program. President Andrzej Duda reiterated Poland's willingness to host the weapons in an interview this week. Moscow considers any expansion of NATO's nuclear sharing agreement or arrangement as deeply destabilizing in nature and in fact threatening Russia. Ryabkov was quoted as saying by TASS on Thursday, this applies to joint missions where non-nuclear members of the U.S.-led bloc are trained to use American hardware, and even more so to the permanent stationing of such weapons, which hotheads in Warsaw are talking about, he said. Polish politicians vying for American nukes on their soil must understand that any shift in that direction will not provide additional security to Poland. Since relevant sites will definitely become targets, our military planners will consider them a priority, the senior diplomat added. That's kind of just common sense that would be done. Again, a lot of this stuff just don't add up. And if none of that was stupid enough, well, I've got even more stupid for you. U.S. considers mobile bases for Pacific War. Now we're shifting gears, going to talk about Pacific War. Says an American military contractor wants to repurpose unused oil rigs as mobile bases that would help resupply U.S. Navy vessels in the Pacific and host missile launchers. Gibbs & Cox, what a name, Gibbs & Cox, a naval architecture subsidiary of Leidos, presented the Mobile Defense Depot Platform, or MODEP, concept at the Sea Airspace 2024 exhibit in Washington, D.C. earlier this month. Our target here, and that's my concerns, it's target, our target here is to find a solution to help the challenging problem of having capacity issues in the Western Pacific for not enough cells, not enough missiles, not enough being able to keep those ships in the forward station, Dave Zook, a solutions architect and combat systems department manager at Gibbs & Cox, told Naval News. The MODEP concept refers to a large floating island base capable of positioning itself at an ideal distance from shore and independently operating for almost 6 months. It would be configured for either a supply function or missile launching. The U.S. Navy currently lacks the capability to reload its missile launchers at sea. The supply MODEP would solve this by having 2 cranes capable of lifting 100 tons each. The missile-based version could hold up to 512 vertical launch systems, or VLS, missile cells, or up to 100 new large missile launchers, or LMLs. The concept also reduces risks and costs associated with land-based defense systems, Leidos and Gibbs & Cox also said. Leidos, Gibbs & Cox. Japan has considered using converted oil rigs as an alternative to its canceled Aegis, I should know that's the name of my e-cig, Aegis Ashore Missile Defense System or program. Both variants could travel at speeds of 5 to 8 knots to cover about 200 nautical miles a day and maintain stability even in waves of up to 60 feet or 20 meters tall. The concept calls for the MODEP to have a range of 4,000 nautical miles without refueling, generate between 6 and 20 megawatts of power, hold up to 2.3 million gallons of fuel, and host a maintenance and repair shop for warships. Oh, all that ought to be easy to do. The best part, according to Gibbs and Cox, is that there are up to 6 commercial oil rigs that could be converted to military use at a relatively low cost due to oversupply in the oil market. The platforms could be ready within as little as 2 years, the company said. Neither the Pentagon nor the Navy have officially commented on the proposal. Now, I may not be very knowledgeable in that area, but does oil platforms have the ability to move? 'Cause I didn't think they did. I kind of thought when an oil platform was put into place, it's kind of a thing. It's there. Side note, I'm not quite so sure that an oil platform's going to make for a super good target. Because I can't imagine that they went out there and they put an oil platform out there and they didn't do any drilling. They didn't do nothing. Now again, not my field, not my circus, not my monkeys, so I don't know. But I would imagine at most a quote-unquote out-of-commission oil well would be an oil well that's capped off, I would think. That would be like as much kaput as what it could really be. And as least done as it could be as far as being able to produce. That's not going to make a really good target because I'm just sitting here thinking of a bunch of BP oil spills happening at once because dumbasses made them military targets. I don't know. Just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. Coffee. Thought this was a little bit crazy, and regardless of your personal feelings about it and which side you choose to feel better about, this is not cool at all. Again, I know that the large majority of people are not in favor of the campus protesters and what they're protesting about. But we have to be very, very, very careful. Because freedom is so easy to lose. And we're at a state in our nation to where you've got so many people demanding that other people's freedom be taken away. This is how it happens. U.S. campus protesters akin to 1930s Nazis, says Netanyahu. Really? Really? Now, I really do try to stay out of it when speaking about my personal opinion on this, but I'll say this. I don't give a damn what happened in your past. If it's something very, very horrible that happened to you or your people in the past, does not give you the right to do it to people, other people, today. Now, if it was those same people, I am very much an eye for an eye kind of person, right? If Israelis were treating Germans really shitty, I got nothing. Maybe the Germans shouldn't have did that to the Israelis, right? That's my thoughts. I do much believe in an eye for an eye. But correct me if I'm wrong, but the Palestinians didn't just start stealing a bunch of land from the Israelis and attacking their people, and I don't think it happened that way. Pretty sure it didn't happen that way. And I'm pretty sure the Palestinians had nothing, and I mean zero, to do with the Holocaust. So I am at a little bit of a loss here at how it's okay, because the Bible didn't say that. The Bible did not say that. Israel is not a plot of land. It's a group of tribes. A group of tribes in which one of those tribes is trying to eliminate the other tribes. Again, I'm failing to see how that's okay. Failing to see how that's okay. Anywho, it's crazy. Oh, I was just speaking about the tribe of Judah and the other tribes of Israel, or Arabs. So that kind of gives you any of an idea. All the other tribes of Israel are Arabs. So tribe of Judah is the only non-Arab tribe. Let's see. U.S. Congress probing 13 banks for January 6 collusion. Remember what I was saying a little bit ago about people trying to take other people's freedom away? That's kind of what this is about. Check this out. This is crazy. Republicans in the House of Representatives have sent letters to a total of 13 financial institutions they suspect of colluding with the FBI and the Treasury Department to spy on Americans without a warrant in relation to the 2021 Capitol riot. Supporters of then-President Donald Trump had stormed the legislature just as Republican lawmakers were starting to register objections to certifying the 2020 election in favor of Joe Biden. Democrats labeled the unrest as an insurrection and sought to arrest over 1,000 people involved in any way. Some of these people were apparently targeted by financial institutions working with the FBI and the Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, according to the House Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government, led by the Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan. The committee and select subcommittee remain concerned about how and to what extent federal law enforcement and financial institutions continue to spy on Americans by weaponizing backdoor information, sharing and casting sprawling classes of transactions, purchase behavior, and protected political or religious expression as potentially suspicious or indicative of extremism, said in a letter from Jordan, which the Daily Mail obtained exclusively on Thursday. Jordan has pointed to evidence that the FBI and FinCEN instructed banks to look for purchases of Bibles or search terms such as Trump or MAGA, the acronym for the 45th president's campaign slogan, Make America Great Again. Congress was already investigating Bank of America, Chase, U.S. Bank, Wells Fargo, Citibank, and Trust. Thursday's letter was sent to Charles Schwab, HSBC, Mitsubishi, UFJ Financial Group, PayPal, Santander, Standard Chartered, and Western Union. That makes 13 banks or financial institutions potentially involved in the dragnet. Bank of America alone sent data on 211 individuals to the FBI and FinCEN by January 17, 2021. However, a suspicious activity report was sent after the federal agencies asked banks to look for extremist purchases. 4 of the 211 were tagged for a follow-up and visited by FBI agents, None of them ended up being charged with anything. The kind of warrantless financial surveillance raises serious concerns about the federal government's respect for Americans' privacy and fundamental civil liberties, Jordan wrote in a separate letter to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, also obtained by the Daily Mail. Since 2021, the FBI has targeted radical traditionalist Catholics as well as parents who spoke up at school board meetings on issues such as mask mandates or critical race theory as potential domestic terrorists. Both programs were officially denounced after being revealed by whistleblowers. So, I'm at a big loss whenever people will come. You look. I could scroll through YouTube, and it would be unbelievable amount of different channels that I could pull videos from just from the last 2-3 days. That would be warning style videos, warnings to all of you of what the FBI said or what the FBI reported. Now, I don't know if these people were born retarded or if they worked hard at it their entire life. But I'm not going to sit there and look at the FBI in one light when it comes to how they handled all the situation with Trump and January 6th and all of that, and then turn around the next moment and believe them on a damn thing they tell me. And anybody that does is stupid, and you shouldn't be listening to them, you shouldn't be following them, and you shouldn't damn well be that dumb yourself. If a group of individuals proves himself to be wholly untrustworthy, and I do believe that the federal government in every capacity has proven just that, then why the hell are people picking and choosing when to listen to them? Oh, to make content for YouTube. See, it's not about helping anybody except for themselves. If they were trying to help you, they would be giving you much the same message. Don't be retarded. You cannot trust these groups. You can't. There isn't an agency within the United States government that is trustworthy at this point. There's just not. I know that that's not warm and fuzzy. I don't care. It's honest. It's truthful. And if you put that in your head, be a hell of a lot more useful than these channels are trying to do just by trying to keep you spun up by this or that or the other thing. All they're doing is doing the government's work for them. They're being led around by the nose. Don't let that happen. Be smarter than that. Anyway, let's do some headlines. No, I'm not nice, by the way, about people misleading other people. Not a damn bit. And I don't care. When you mislead other people for personal gain, you're a piece of shit. Plain and simple. You're a piece of shit. EU state backs Chinese peace plan for Ukraine. Let's see. Lukashenko names conditions for leaving power. Ukraine to step up long-range strikes on Russia, says UK military chief. Yemen's Houthis claim they targeted U.S. and Israeli ships. U.S. nuclear weapons in Poland would be priority. Oh, I covered that one. Iconic Moulin Rouge cabaret suffers damage in Paris. The windmill fell off and knocked a couple of the letters off, and they have no idea what led to the windmill coming on. Biden team doubts U.S. aid will help Ukraine win. Oh, I did that one. It's actually the first one. Belarus reveals alleged plot to attack Minsk from EU. AUKUS plans will turn Asia-Pacific into nuclear minefield, says North Korean expert. Let's see. Moscow issues diplomatic warning to Washington. France warns against placing nukes in Poland. Dozens arrested at pro-Palestine protest in the U.S. Europe could die, says Macron. This one I thought was absolutely mind-blowing. Harvey Weinstein rape conviction overturned. Yeah, overturned. I'm waiting to hear about Bill Cosby next. Right? It's crazy. Wait a minute. Okay, I guess they just had to borrow it. So a minivan pulled up in the alley earlier. And you know, we've got these new 95-gallon trash bins provided from the trash company. Dude pulled up in his minivan and they put one in the back of the minivan and took off. And I thought, okay, I'll just kind of keep it up. Well, anyway, they're back. I guess they had to borrow it for some reason. Let's see. Russia freezes assets of largest U.S. bank. Hamas names terms for laying down arms. China threatens U.S. with response in wake of missile deployment in the Philippines. Liberal world order must be destroyed, says Orban. U.S. births reach 45-year low, says a report. And, you know, it's a no-brainer. Why? Seriously. For a lot of men, any men that's got two brain cells to rub together sees having a child right now in this environment is economic and emotional suicide. Plain and simple. Economic and emotional suicide. Because it doesn't matter the reason for mama to decide that she doesn't want to be with dada. It doesn't matter. And mama has all the encouragement and support and advice in the world on leaving dada. And all legal fees are paid. I mean, it's a clean street. All they have to do is kick dad to the curb. And then dad has to fight his ass off to be able to bring home enough money to live themselves, and have to double fight his ass off to even see the kids that he's paying his ass off for. Yeah, I think I might have an idea why the birth rates are a little down in the United States of America. You can blame it on low T all you want. Germany's Greens lied to push through nuclear power phase-out, says media. U.S. campus protesters... I covered that. President admits hugging nukes. That would be Lukashenko. And, yeah, he admitted to literally hugging a warhead. U.S. considers mobile bases for Pacific War. You know, I can't say I wouldn't do it. If you put me in a silo next to a nuclear warhead, I might have to reach out and hug it. I mean, come on. I mean, yeah, I think I probably would. Just for the irony. No doubt. I'm even the type of guy that, like, pull a Zippo out of my pocket or something and start tapping on the outside casing. You know, I mean, why? Because it ain't gonna go off. Just the thought of it's funny to me. U.S. considered... Oh, I covered that. Spanish PM takes break from public duties. CENTCOM says we shot down Houthi ASBM target ship with crew of 18 Americans and 4 Greeks. Second kill for the F-452 Hydra frigate. It shot down a UAV in the Gulf of Aden. Giving a crotale, I have no idea how to pronounce that, NG array to France ahead of the Olympics. Paris left by Showrad. Showrad. That is Showrad. NATO says Sweden sends around 500 troops, CV-90 and Leopard to Latvia for 6 months. You know, just safekeeping. Russia is preparing for a strike on the Crimean Bridge with ATACMS. I would be too. There's no way we will send Patriot or S-300 to Ukraine, what he said about MOUs with Turkey. I think that's Greece. Lithuania delivered an L-39 Albatross light fighter trainer to Ukraine. Milestone Prometheus intercepted supersonic avant-gardes, giving Russia a first strike advantage. The U.S. shield breaks. 0 hour for the Suwalki corridor. Belarus says we were attacked by NATO forces in Lithuania. We intercepted kamikaze drones. Macron said he called for the immediate rearmament of all countries. Europe is moribund and in a state of encirclement. Russia responds to NATO with massive attacks on the ports and railway network of Ukraine. The Kharkiv-Donbass connection has been cut. Rapid collapse of the Ukrainians. The third line of defense also breaks. The Russian army took Solovyov and opened the fan of the attack. EU Parliament condemns Iran over strikes on Israel. Millet reforms make Argentine peso world's top performing currency. Russians bomb building full of Ukrainian soldiers with 4 Fab 250s. And lastly, I actually covered that. So, that would be that. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I am actually kind of tired. I got up early this morning. I couldn't get back to sleep, so I eventually just quit fighting it and got up. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you all on Sunday evening. God willing, that is. I hope you all have a good weekend. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. Shalom.